Okay, so I don't know how I want to feel about this, but I just know what I need to say about it. Both from the player that used to give a fuck grinding every day between PC and PSN to grace the stage one time in a New York following. So I'm not underestimated by my peers, and the player now that wants to give a fuck, but I have too much going on to care anymore whether or not I can be the main character of my own story. I called this well over a year ago. When Bum left the scene again. Neo was already gone long before he branded to Motivation Academy. He didn't like the state of the game to him, feeling like his character, Hit, wasn't playable. The reality of the situation then was that he wasn't willing to make changes to his strategy or team assembly to adapt better to his surroundings. He left randomly and honestly never became associated with the fighter's IP tournament-wise. Just afar through Bum's lens in order to stay in the know and whatever it is other people were telling him, even if it wasn't true. It was just who was in the know that he knows, not that you actually want to know yourself. Then with Bum, his disassociation happened a ways back through early 2024, after City of Mayhem Grand Blue had wrapped up. He went into hiatus doing his Overwatch streams that then evolved into Marvel Rival streams as time dictated. He was fatigued, and understandably so, for as far as he went to stay controlling the majority of the lens and its impact for inclusion. John left early last year, early 2024, and then stayed off the gridiron for a long while, hosting or promoting anything of significance. He was just looking out for himself and regaining ground for a casual journey back outside the hosting region. He also took a pivot into HOC's City of the Wolves and hosting Marvel Rivals itself when the interests arose, but those didn't stick. That's another thing I'll leave for another day when I give a damn to talk about Farley's business practices. Then he resumed offlines vaguely outside of Arena of Chaos, AOC, and back at his place, TSL, way later on to prep a whole landscape shift for 2XKO and possibly Marvel Tokon, since House of Chaos has a strong Marvel versus Capcom background. That makes sense. It makes more than enough sense for it to be the new generational face of Bum's brand alongside fighters and or rivals. Then there's Daniel, that WhatDanielDo. This Dominican dumbass. I knew he'd be back. I honestly knew he'd be back from the beginning because people never learn, no matter how or where or why. Mainly where we go once you realize you're being taken advantage of. Yet you resume catering to these bloodsuckers because they're your friends. They were never your friends, to be honest, if that's the case.
Sure, Damien, you're my best friend.
I was going to leave his ass alone and let him do his own thing, taking a long break from TO work to let his followers and all those selective parasites, not necessarily the following, think before asking. Because the hype is right there for people to get caught up in the moment and you forget all that stupid bullshit that you or your friends caused them because they can't be grateful. I cared in the first place to even give a fuck to host. That's what never comes to mind. They never think of the fact that a person like you never initially gave a fuck to host until it just hits. And then you take it for granted. It's always the same shit. And it's like with him, it was those same players that he's playing with now. Yeah, those same people you play rivals with on a daily basis, like you're all buddy, all throughout your whole little stupid ass eternity grind. Not the majority, we're already set, and I'm grateful that he's even doing these every Monday when he was doing them. But the minority, the small percentage of the skilled players that are pocket watching his shit, that are always placing and or winning brackets, they don't support people generally, only specifically when it's convenient. I keep saying this when it's convenient, and no one ever fucking listens. It's those same vultures that you're banking clout off of to stay in the water cooler conversation. I know because I've done a lot of that shit myself in trying to gain clout off of other players, not just big names, but also in building with lesser known people and lesser known talents, while also respectfully showcasing and showing new talent first and foremost, as you should, and not keep sucking the dick of old dinosaurs. Like, there are those that you're not directly opening up for, that are always here all the time to play and write their own stories. The devotees, they also get swept up in others' arrangements that end up paying for it in these situations that you never know about until it's too late. And then there's those that you are catering to, the 1%, the people I'm talking about right now. And we see that shit, who aren't grateful. They say they're grateful, but they're actually not. It's just assumed and expected that they're expecting you, the host, to be a constant or returning cog in the system to fuel the engine that they broke down, right? Like, they don't take advantage of just one person for fiscal gain or monetary gain. They rotate pocket watching people to strike like a carcass. Then either play the victim card or also want to be buddy-buddy with you, suddenly dick-sucking. Like, oh, I'm not like that, I'm just joking. For a set amount of time, unknowing to you that there's still a hater to you behind your back. To relive and relieve a lot of personal sin and accountability of fucking it up for everybody. Or, you know exactly who the hell it is and what they did, and you refuse to say something because of saving your own damn imagery. Let the community hang them socially for ruining years of events that we could have been had by now to be in a more gracious and thankful spot for this community. Let them do that shit in casting stones, or driving off the last of our prior batch of organizers that were hosting, or being misrepresented by people and things that have their intentions misunderstood when it's very blunt, when they really just wanted to steal from these people. It displays, honestly, that these niggas don't deserve to respectfully compete in scenes because you're not thankful that this is here. Yet the inclusion of the few 1% area decides a whole dice roll between ungrateful silence and echo chamber hoarding. Meanwhile, they are entitled to believe that they're owed events daily, and that's why they take it for granted, sucking you off in their whole dog-eat-dog societal practices. My issue with these guys is that they all feed the beast of exclusion and inequality to opportunity that they claim to be against. Also, they can be the hero and play the hero repeatedly versus the victim card that's staying in their favor. They've just been hypocrites disengaging at the right times for it to pay off socially for imagery. Think of it like beneficial virtue signaling, if you will.
I want to sit here and look at the fourth quarter of 2025. Looking at Bum's Twitter now, because he's got top lane that he's wrapping up here for 2xKO on PC. That's a whole other issue I'll get into at another point in time. Blade from the Bronx. That's 2xKO. I'm going to leave this for another point in time when I get back to Bum. But his offlines have resumed. His offline has resumed for House of Chaos. Then we got WhatDanielDo, who was thinking about returning to the Dirty Den series on Dragon Ball FighterZ after his accident and whatever that is that had happened there to himself. And then trying to balance this with Marvel Rivals and a lot of the custom followers lobbies that he has. And then you have NeoJudai that's going to be happening in a couple of days. And prepared this whole ass speech about it. from 4 years ago to today, I decided to start running tournaments to give back to my community. It was just one person, one laptop on its last legs, and a dream, and I made it work for a very long time. And now with my DBFZ tournaments coming back and working on a PC, I'm excited to give the community the tournaments and good experience they deserve that I couldn't give because of my laptop, plus being a rookie TO. There's a couple of contradictions in that, but I'm going to get to that in another point in time during my session here to look. So between the three of them, it's the landscape of New York City trying to reintroduce itself back into the ecosystem. So here we go. And again, this is what kind of irks me looking back at all this bullshit. So Bum is hosting offline the Savage Lands alongside the 2XKO narrative and the whole BS with the 2XKO. It looks like it's going to unfold or may unfold in disappointment. Neo has the Returning Motivation Academy, formerly the Fighters Academy, to a DBFZ time block, now sharing with Street Fighter 6. It's not replacing it, but it's sharing it, which I kind of figured that way you have the best of both lanes for North America. And Daniel is thinking about returning the Dirty Den series to DBFZ and balancing this with his rival's custom lobby following. The pretenses of why they all left the last time revolved around the catering of expansion and split interests, or revolved around taking a break, however long that break was intended to be or it actually became. Some people feeling as if they needed to step back or step away altogether in a new direction, whatever the hell you want to call it or label it, at the cost of losing an apparent huge scene for fighters. It also restored a massive amount of appreciation to a decent amount of people. Losing something really important hit home, which is sad as fuck that it needed to come to that, but I'm glad it did. That way people can understand and be empathetic of their fellow persons, short-lived as it may have been. These same people could be better people as a result. A bigger positive note to take away over scenes still being here, these same big scenes still being here from those days, and then you never learning shit about how to appreciate everyone hosting or competing, and not just dick suck harder that one guy returning just to make them feel wanted or feel needed, as if you only wanted to use them over actually supporting efforts generally to sustain the scene. Let's just be super honest here. Additionally, I don't appreciate all of the work KLB, King Lord Beers, and myself put into sanitizing the entire online lens of Dragon Ball FighterZ to open its eyes to all of its options that it can systemically apply for more enriched nurturing this cycle, just for it to stop being regarded in all these options that have been here, all just for these assholes to automatically retain the imagery of the lens and control and just hog everything again. Like, you guys think it's not that serious. It's always been that serious to stop others' needless cutthroat tactics of community inclusion versus just plain ostracizing. If you don't see it, then that's too damn bad. You've never had to stick your neck out to endure the struggles of keeping aloft something you care about when everyone is gradually against you the more you do it or the more you're for it. You're just playing the game to climb and enjoy, as you should. Not trying to create or establish some course or establish anything on the game for its community. I'll tell you how this shit's gonna go for the new generation coming in trying to enjoy the game, which is the main focus at the end of the day, but you don't know them behind the scenes. You don't know them having come up through the scenes here since 2019, 2020. Anybody else, if you haven't seen the corruption then from the past couple of years that came to a light in the last cycle before, rollback's complete integration into the rollback era we find ourselves in now, then you blind monkeys never will. And I don't care to cater to you. You can continue your dick sucking cycles. I'm not catering to you. I'm talking to the people that need to hear this, that need to know what's going on. So what's going to happen? They want to suck up all of this lens. They want to hoard the field like it's all them, like it's only them. They're the ones that have always been doing this. You come here for blah, 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 because they're the only ones that matter, that have always had your back, when that's a fucking lie. Where were you the past year? 2 years? 3 years? Why haven't you openly talked about other scenes literally going on to still be in the loop and in the community you care so much about? The people, not just your people of your circle, because it doesn't count in that regard. Fuck you for thinking that it does. Why don't you openly collab with other hosts then? People you know goddamn well that do the same thing you're doing whether or not you're here. Fuck whether or not you're here. They're still going to do it anyways half the time, because they have to feed their own cycle to put themselves on the map, whether or not you help them or you hurt them. You lurk in streams everywhere and in every event assembly to keep up appearances, so obviously you would know about it. If you don't, you will lie. Why can't you do all this stuff? Because you simply can't do it. You can't do any of that shit. It doesn't have to have a monetary or fiscal gain or benefit to you. That's the lie you tell yourself and the person supposedly not on your level, or else you assume that you can't talk to them or they're not easily approachable people when you never tried to approach them. It's a whole bunch of textbook snobbish bullshit you feel you have to embrace to get a cut ahead in the dog-eat-dog mentality you don't have to have. You can't put your money where your mouth is to actively support differing scenes you claim to care about. No one you claim to know is there, when actually that's a lie. You do know them, actually, but they're not relevant. So you just ignore them altogether, or you act like you don't know them in the bigger lens of the picture and trying to get them out there, or get the names out there. You could shout out a lot of people whenever you want, but if it doesn't benefit you, you're not going to do it. But you'll easily reference someone or one of your friends that have nothing to do with this shit. You'll put them out there because they're from the same scene as you, they're from the same circle as you. You're quicker to promote your own more than you're quicker to promote a stranger. Like, these New York City people believe this game deserves more, which isn't fully true. The old days getting to this point, yes, and then hell no, because of greed, tunnel visioning, miscommunication, misrepresentation, and repeated openly selfish people pissing away or pissing on good people and good opportunity, then attacking each other. Nowadays, it's 50-50 because that past made this future that is now our present. Almost all that division came from the New York City trash hole that never held accountability, only the glory and the attitude that came of it. No surprise there. I honestly don't think Dragon Ball FighterZ is deserving of a grand event or big tournament series too much these days, after all the ungrateful antics displayed by said minority all through the years, or the people that don't change, but say they change for the inclusion. They only said that just to save face and duck accountability. I get tired of hearing this shit. At the same time, I do believe, to some small degree, that it is deserving of some type of event, because Bandai's miscommunication wasn't good to or good for the game during its prime into its prime closing. And so that has to be taken into account also. I feel a good event every once in a while is okay for the game, I guess. I just don't care for the obscured yapping and echo chambering behind the scenes in order to further take advantage of that confusing line to muddy waters of relation just for self-gain.
Like, all things considered, I'm not saying don't support them. I'm not saying don't support Daniel or NeoJudai or Bum. I'm not saying to cancel them. I'm not saying to ignore them or be difficult with them. My practices with them over the years are different from yours, and that's the way it goes when value is not equal everywhere. It just happens at random, right? A good thing or a terrible thing happens, you react to it. That's the only thing you can control. And then you have to keep going through the setback either with people, if you have any, or you just go with it on your own. Usually it's on your own because people don't care to try to empathize with other people these days. You may never see what I've seen or feel in these interactions or have any empathy about any of this till it happens to you. It may never happen to you altogether. Good for you if it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't. I don't know, perhaps I'm too aggressive or too forward, or maybe I just seen too much shit from people to see change, or just seen too much shit in order to see that people could change, or better hide self-inadequacy. Or perhaps I'm just too bitter from years of just seeing how much backstabbing and gaslighting or inequality or favoritism or ostracizing really starts with people. And it continues to happen in all these swept under the rug childish antics. And then when I go to talk about it or bring it up to people or I speak up, it just reverts to, I've never seen this before. I don't know what you're talking about, or they don't act like this when I'm around. They don't act like this around me. I don't care, dude. It's because they never tried to look for it from people. You never looked. You've never been exposed to the other side of people's intentions, whom haven't already put you in a sorting system for better association. I already see the end game that they want, and I don't think they're deserving of getting it by already pre-designating you as you are, instead of letting you define what the hell you want to do with your time and your life in contributing to whatever the totality of the grid is. And then you get dismissed for it because it's not enough compared to them. Like it's a dick measuring contest. And I hate that shit, that people co-sign on this ignorantly and don't think about the contribution of others around them. Well, all I'm saying is to pick your battles. What I'm saying is to respect your TOs and hosts that give up personal time to create these activities and events. We're people, not cash registers or some item to be shelled because there's a new toy to play with. I'm saying to watch your tone and be mindful that context is important to any conversation, not any of the he said, she said that's backed up by some echo chambering bullshit because you're too lazy to fact check. I'm saying to actually support other people you know doing this work and for things you love. They do this because they care about the game's ecosystem and its continuum more than the people in it, complicating the process of that with individual issues. It's easier to sort the real people from the fake people doing this, or at least keep receipts if BS hits the fan. I'm also saying to ditch the mindset of rules for thee, not for me, when it doesn't go your way or you want little to apply to you conveniently from fairness or a warped version of it. It's not about you, it's about everybody. Like if I got to share the scene with a lot of treacherous and graciously uncertain people, or the con artists, or walking literal 50-50s that switch up on you every day, then they have to share it with me too, riding their ass like a rodeo. And I ride their following like a rodeo too. Then we all suffer together, or we can get along. The choice is always yours. I'm ready either way. If the community acts Hollywood or ghetto or snobbish or ungrateful or immature around people, or I find that shit out when I'm not in the mood again, because, common sense is complicated for whatever reason, then I'm just calling bitches out. I don't give a fuck who. I'm in that ass frame one when I see your page, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Block me to save yourself time if you need to, if you don't want to hear it, because I'm going to tell your bitch ass off. And don't say I didn't warn you. I made enemies of a lot of people calling out dumb shit. I can afford to be on a few more people's shit list. I'm always watching and I'm always lurking. Just pray for this scene and pray for my peace. Both have a chance to be a little better in life. And let's just see where this goes. I try to keep an open mind, but hope for the best, prepare for the worst is usually where I go, right? I'll catch you guys on the next one. Just a rant I wanted to just get off my chest, coming back into this and seeing Motivation Academy out there, good intentions, Dirty Den, I guess, good intentions. Bum, City of Mayhem, not good intentions. And that's just going to muddy the waters more for this generation. And I wish this generation was just aware of everything this game's gone through in order to really know where the mindset is at for the other side of the fence in terms of influence and proper contributing effort and morality. But we'll see. I give it a few months and then we'll start seeing where this landscape looks like, right?